Assalamualaikum and good greetings. This video will be about, I don't know, certain methodology about da'wah and the notion that Muslim can lie and use deceit to spread Islam. This is nothing new in terms of, the comments that I received that say that, Islam teach to lie, to use deception, to use deceit, to bring people to Islam. And I was always wondering, where do they get this information from? And we will use a comment that is just very recent for the basis of this video's discussion. I'm not really sure where the video will go, but we will see. I guess this is just a knee-jerk reaction. I'm not sure because I'm confused as to where people get this from and whether it's valid from Islamic perspective, or some Muslim scholars say something that they somehow twist into something else or something. I'm not sure. So this started here. This is a comment that replied to something, but there are different style approach approved in Sharia to do da'wah. Okay, this is how the person write da'wah. I'm not sure why it's become da'wah. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm aware that you are aware of different tactics allowed and encouraged to da'wah. I'm not sure. I'm aware of da'wah and its discussion, but I'm not sure what he's referring to or she is referring to. The name, I'm not sure whether he or she. I would assume she based on this, but I'm not sure. Different type and duplicity to make da'wah. Mudarat. I'm not sure how to pronounce this because I'm not familiar with this word, unless he or she write in Arabic. I'm not sure what is the actual pronunciation. Mudarat. I'm not sure what this is. It's a tactical lie that Sunni used to da'wah. This is even more bizarre. I'm not sure which Sunni teaching is this. Kitman, I assume this is Kitman, but I'm not sure. Deceit about omission, etc. So all of these are tactical lie and deceit. So that's the comment here. It is having the idea that to do da'wah, it is to use lie and deceit. So so there's something that is stated. So hence I got curious. Care to share the source of this? This is the first time I have ever heard of any of this, despite being in da'wah discourse for 20 years. I'm curious to see whether any Sunni Muslim actually teach this kind of stuff. So I'd be interested to see the source, especially if the source is from a Muslim source. So I really want to see whether any Muslim scholar or source actually says and teach this. Because if this is found on any anti-Muslim website, etc., claiming this is teaching of Islam or Muslim or scholars, that's not surprising. I've seen that a lot. But if this is actually written by Muslim scholars or Muslim themselves, that is what I'm interested to see. Is this really from Islamic source? So that is the context of me asking for source. I'd be interested to see the source, especially if the source is come from a Muslim source, because I'm really curious whether any Muslim actually teach this. Any Muslim, attending Islamic discourse of da'wah, is there anyone actually say, okay, we can actually use lie and deceit to spread da'wah? I have never heard of any such thing, right? And this one suddenly he or she give a long elaborated comment that do not really specify the source, so not really answering the question. It can come from anything. And then he or she said, you have never heard about things like this because you are an honest man and don't go deeper than the actual da'wah. So this is interesting to me. This is interesting to me because he or she thinks that if I go deeper to da'wah discussion, I will observe all of this, and then or probably you never learn the methodology to make Islam win. So again, interesting assumption. this is part of my passion, because I really want to make Islam win, and I have, you know, dig deep into this passionately over the last 20 years. And then dawah have different level. There are high educated Arab here in the West who are going the level of duruna, muruna. So I'm not sure what is this. Is it specific to specific group that use these words? What is duruna? What is muruna? Is that Arabic word? Duruna, muruna. Is it muruna? Because even as Arabic word, I'm not familiar. Is this even Arabic word? If it is, what is the actual word and how do you spell it? And then, okay, so on this point, right? You are an honest man, don't go deeper, you never learn methodology. So just because this triggered me a lot. I'm not because I become angry, etc. But the assumption is interesting. The assumption is interesting. And I have come across this a lot when people say something that is bizarre to Islam, and I said, where do you get it from? There's always the assumption as if they know Islam more than me, right? It's bizarre to me, but after having encountered this again and again and again, I believe there are certain Christians that really believe that they know Islam more because they have listened to certain sources. And any Muslim that do not comply with their whatever they know, those are ignorant Muslim or haven't learned about Islam enough, etc. Right? So it's bizarre to me. If I'm not sure if you can see the books inside. So part of my passion is to read all of those books, right, and to study, etc. And let's just take a look at some of those, bring it here, to say that it is actually about Islam and about da'wah itself. Many, or some at least, of the many books I have is about da'wah, and we studied in depth. So I'll grab it. So this is the books that I have back there. Of course, not all the books, just some of it I just brought here. And this is just some of the books that I read and study, because the rest is at home. This is my office. I just bring some of it here to read here, while at home I have another collection. Yeah, so you can see, right, this is fiqh da'wah, right? So if you can understand Arabic, qawaid wa usul ad-da'wah, right? Yeah, so qawaid wa usul ad-da'wah. So this is in Malay, fiqh da'wah, right? So this is fiqh da'wah, really dig down into da'wah itself. So this one book, this one is, if you can read Arabic, Muzakkirat ad-da'wah wa da'iyah. Muzakkirat ad-da'wah wa da'iyah, or in written in Malay, right? Muzakkirat da'wah wa da'iyah. So this is also about da'wah itself. This is Manhaj al-Islah, if you can read. Manhaj al-Islah, or Manhaj Islah. That's the translation. So this is about Islah and the whole methodology. So it's directly related to da'wah as well, but it's a bigger scope. This is Manhaj, if you can see, Manhaj at-Taghyir. So Manhaj at-Taghyir, if you translate, is methodology of change, right? So this is meaning, if you talk about if you want to talk about da'wah and its ultimate aim, and how to actually reach to the ultimate aim, meaning da'wah and what else, the whole thing I do study about this as well. Okay, this is quite specific. This is Majmu'ah al-Rasail Hasan al-Banna. So those who follow Hasan al-Banna, there's a lot of books like this. And then this is Syarah Safinatun Najah, right? Syarah Safinatun Najah. Of course, about da'wah itself as well. Of course, this is just more of Islamic understanding. This is Jami' al-Ulum wal-Hikam. So this is collection of hadith to understand the core of Islam from the hadith perspective. This is, if you can read, Tafsir al-Azhar, or Tafsir al-Azhar. So this is tafsir, one of the tafsir that I have. and this is fiqh, Islam and jurisprudence, or this is law and jurisdiction in Islam. This is one of the many volume by Wahbah Zuhaili. So these are some of the books, right? Of course, these are about Islam itself, and most of these are about dawah itself. So it is interesting that there's the notion of this comment that I don't really go deeper about da'wah etc. Right? So I have been digging deep into da'wah, seeing the Prophet Muhammad SAW example, understanding the context, etc., 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 because that's what I'm passionate about for the past 20 years. So when there's something like this that I have never heard about this from Muslim sources, and suddenly non-Muslim says they know about da'wah more than me, and says this is what Muslim are doing. Which Muslim are you talking about? I have never encountered that before. Which sources are you talking about? So I'm really interested to know whether there's any validity of that, even if it is valid for a very fringe group of Muslim. I'm still interested. Does that kind of group exist that have that kind of teaching? Yeah. And then again, this is not really answering what's the sources. So that's why I ask. Not sure if you forgot, but what is the sources, because he or she keep on copy and paste a lot of long articles about to justify this taqiyah concept, etc. But the source from Muslim sources is still missing, right? So and then he or she said, I wrote my phone, I cannot forward them option yet. Okay, and then just citing like many sources here, some of them Al-Ghazali, Yusuf Qardawi, Al-Buti, Dr. Muhammad Amin, Imam Al-Shafi'i, Ibn Qayyim. So yes, I'm familiar with this name, but you do not actually link any of their specific writings to those teaching. You cannot just say that these are the names that somehow linked with that. I'm familiar with Al-Ghazali. I'm familiar with Yusuf Al-Qardawi. I'm familiar very much. I have the book of Sayyid Ramadan Al-Buti, right? So, but where in these books does it justify to say that da'wah can be spread by deceit or lie, right? I'm not interested in interpretation of those who don't understand Islam, and they look into it and then they pick something and they say this must mean that deceit can be used. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in actual quote from all of these names, and I want to see whether it's justified to link to those concepts. Anyway, so this is where this video has got us to. Yeah, just part of my journey in YouTube, I guess. Learning more about people, and I actually interested to know how people formulate their perspective and perception about things. Yep. Thank you for watching. See you next time.